I know what you're probably thinking. Why put out a VR headset in 2026? Big hit VR games have been few and far between in recent years, but Valve is convinced that there's still an appetite for VR, especially if it can make a headset that combines the best of what headsets offer today and innovate in key areas. That's where the Steam Frame comes in, a successor to the Valve Index that came out in 2019. Along with the new Steam Machine and Steam Controller, I was able to use the upcoming Steam Frame when I visited Valve last month, and it is genuinely impressive tech that I wish came out a lot sooner. I'll start with a few of the basic tech specs. The Steam Frame can be used as a standalone device like the Meta Quest 3, as it's powered by a 4nm Snapdragon ARM processor and 16GB of RAM. It'll be available in 256GB and 1TB UFS storage options, and there's also a micro SD slot for expansion. Its pancake optics put out 2160 by 2160 resolution per eye and can do between 72Hz to 120Hz refresh rate with an experimental 144Hz. And its FOV goes up to 110 degrees. The Steam Frame does inside-out tracking via 4 outward-facing cameras with IR illuminators for dark environments and 2 interior cameras for eye tracking. There's no need for lighthouse sensors anymore, as external VR sensors are officially a thing of the past. However, the biggest innovation here is in its wireless tethering tech. The Steam Frame comes with a USB receiver that connects the headset to a PC wirelessly through a super low latency 6 GHz signal. This lets you wield the power of your PC without cables tying you to it and without any jarring lag that'd make you sick. I tested this myself playing about 15 minutes of Half-Life Alyx on the Steam Frame, and just anecdotally, it ran flawlessly. Of course, this was under perfect conditions, but movement tracking, gesturing with the controls, and image quality were all on point, living up to my memory of playing it on the Index via a wired connection when I reviewed it back in 2020. And with Wi-Fi 7, it'll work simultaneously when connected to the internet without interference. Because of the bandwidth and the speed afforded by 6 GHz wireless signals, Valve is able to wield a new technique called foveated streaming. With eye tracking, the headset is able to recognize where you're looking and immediately focus resources there for optimal image quality and the highest resolution to the visible area. It's a similar idea to foveated rendering, where the game itself will dedicate your system's resources to better handle the load for performance and graphics. But with foveated streaming, it's happening at the hardware level, so it's not something developers need to worry about implementing themselves. Either way, it's key to understand that this is not necessarily affecting core performance, rather it's to ensure that the wireless feed stays lag-free and looking its best. Both the freedom of sharp built-in tracking and fast wireless connectivity, along with the power of a proper gaming PC, this makes for the ideal VR experience. But that's not all the Steam Frame excels at. It's fairly lightweight overall, and its weight distribution makes it feel like a natural extension of yourself rather than a front-loaded brick that's strapped to my head. Its battery is actually on the rear of the head strap, so it's more balanced than other VR headsets I've used, and if you need to plug in, the USB port is also on the back, so the cable stays out of your way. The padding around the headset is plushy and was comfortable in the short time that I used it, and the strap was easily adjustable to get the right fit. The Steam Frame also runs on SteamOS natively, so you get the same interface and quality of life features as you would on the Steam Deck or the upcoming Steam Machine, including the advantage of Proton. But I was surprised by how much I enjoyed the virtual theater experience when using the Steam Frame. Like other VR headsets, you're able to play non-VR games inside of it through a fake TV that SteamOS projects within the headset's virtual space. And on the frame, it looked really crisp. I played about 10 minutes of Hades 2 at 4K with the virtual screen blown up to its maximum size, like having an 100-inch TV I didn't have to buy or fit into my living room space. This kind of experience isn't new, I know, but the seamless integration through SteamOS also makes it very easy to use, and the super fast wireless tech means you can play PC games with the full strength of your system at low latency. I did notice a bit of stuttering at times with the image rendering, similar to how screen tearing looks, but further testing in the future has me curious about how reliable it's going to be. While Valve is intending the Steam Frame to be primarily used with the wireless tether for robust VR experiences, the internal hardware is decent enough for certain games. I played the puzzle adventure game Ghost Town, and while it ran smoothly, it was visually a bit muddy, which speaks to the competent but modest power of the Snapdragon ARM processor. But the ARM compatibility is impressive for running less demanding stuff. To be clear though, don't expect Half-Life Alyx to be playable straight off of the internals of the Steam Frame. The new frame controllers are also an evolution of the excellent index controllers, including capacitive touch sensors for recognizing hand gestures and the grip of your fingers. The battery slots are placed so as to not get in the way of this, as they need one AA battery each and should last for about 40 hours of use. They feature the TMR magnetic sticks and HD haptics you see on the new Steam controller, and have all the features you would come to expect from a traditional gamepad to create this parity across all sorts of games. The NX controllers were bulky for sure, but I do miss how their strap pad design latched onto my hands to feel like they're in tune with VR itself. Conversely, the frames use a more standard wrist strap design, which feels less of an extension of my hands, but makes them more versatile as controllers. Lastly, I should mention the built-in speakers, which sounded solid and are cleverly tucked into the head strap, as is the integrated microphone. Unlike the Index, they're not actual off-ear headphones, but instead integrated into the headband like you see on the Quest 3, which creates a sort of bubble of sound around your head. Now, when looking at the big picture, the Steam frame is one piece of a larger Steam ecosystem that Valve has established and will keep growing. There's a console-like PC in the Steam Machine, a new state-of-the-art Steam controller, the very successful Steam Deck handheld, and now a smartly designed VR headset. Valve is furthering its claim in PC gaming with all of these devices hitting market, while having SteamOS and Proton mature enough to position itself as a serious gaming platform holder. But the frame in particular begs the question of where VR gaming is today and where it might be going in the future. As someone who got in on it on day one, reviewing the original HTC Vive and Oculus Rift back in 2016, and keeping up since then, I'm a little perplexed by the state of VR games, especially with something technically great as the PSVR 2 getting very mild software support. I thought Half-Life Alyx set a bar so high that others would try to reach, with the hope of getting a wave of great new VR games in the process, but such wasn't really the case. That's not to say that there aren't noteworthy games that have come out since then, such as Asgard's Wrath 2, but it's remained a niche in the years since. And perhaps Valve is fine with that, so long as it has the go-to piece of hardware for that niche. Hardware lives or dies by its price though, and like the Steam Machine, Valve doesn't have anything to share quite yet. For reference, a 512GB MetaQuest 3 goes for $500 at regular price as of now, so the Steam frame will have to at least compete in that range. We'll know for certain when we get closer to its early 2026 release, and when we find out, you'll definitely hear it from us first. If you need the lowdown on all of Valve's newly announced hardware, check out our hands-on previews of the Steam Machine and Steam Controller, and to keep up with everything in the world of games and tech, stick with IGN.